day I woke up and said, I'm 100% committed. Even if it takes me 10 years to become a millionaire, I'm going to get there. And so that's just the thing. I was just 100% committed. So it was easy. And that was what I told myself every single day is like, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
How do you build a network, run a profitable business, and make an impact? Oh, and have a personal life at the same time? That's the question, and this podcast is the answer. I'm your host, Chaz Wilson, husband, father of 5, author of the book 5+1, president and co-founder of Master Networks Inc., a national networking organization. Look, each week I bring you successful entrepreneurs who will share success strategies of how to effectively build a network, add valuable wisdom to your journey, and help you succeed. Welcome to Connect, Share, and Prosper. Hey everybody, welcome to Connect, Share, Prosper, where I bring you successful entrepreneurs each week, and we are so blessed on today's episode. We're going to be talking mindset. So listen, if you are driving, pull over. First of all, you shouldn't listen to this live while you're driving anyway, but listen to the recording, you're driving, you're in your office, take some time, put everything aside so you can take notes, because we're going to be talking about mindset, the mindset of champions, the mindset of what it takes. But I have today's guest who's married, mother of 3, lives in Southern California. She is the leader of Mommy Millionaire Movement, which I want to talk to you about. Welcome, Cayla Craft, to Connect, Share, Prosper.
Yay. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to connect with everybody on here.
Yes, the title Connect, Share, Prosper, that's what we're about, connecting with others. So first of all, I love that I looked in your bio and you're a former ER nurse.
Yes.
And I think it's
been a while.
Yes. So it's one of the most appreciated professions, in my opinion. My wife was a nurse for 15 years. And so I have a soft spot in my heart for nurses. So thank you for doing that wonderful job as a nurse. But then how did you go from being a nurse to leading the Mommy Millionaire Movement?
So I found myself at 23 years old. I was a charge nurse in the ER, and, I was only 23, which was like, oh, I've already made it this far. And I'm like, what's next for me? Right. I was going to, grow into management, CNO, all those things. And I looked at those people that had those jobs and I was like, they're miserable, overweight, unhappy, and I don't want that life. Okay. So I knew something had to change. And so at 23 years old, I actually got started in network marketing in a health and wellness company. And I was able to make my first $1 million by the time I was 26. And, with everything I learned from building a team, sales, and empowering people, and just like learning how to be a self-taught millionaire, I was like, I got to teach other people how to do this. And I did it primarily all through social media. Okay. And so, I just had all this business knowledge and I was like, I want to share it with the world. So that's how Mommy Millionaire was created.
So I want to talk about what that is in just a second, but I love how so for those listening who might think, I loved how you described it, but you made it sound really easy. Like, I was a nurse, I saw what I didn't want, I decided, and boom, here's where I was. But I'm sure it wasn't that simple. So what was your mindset going through it? How did you make it happen? What were some of the struggles and the places that you had to get through to make that happen?
Right. You know what? I know it sounds like it's too good to be true. It was too easy. It actually was an easy decision for me because looking at those people's lives, it was like, they're unhappy. Like, I don't want that. So it's like, am I going to continue to be uncomfortable in this life, or can I get uncomfortable and have a good life? And that was the answer for me. And whenever you decide to change your life, it's always just a decision. It's a simple decision. It's not rocket science. I didn't have to learn or go to school and get, a degree in something fancy. I just had to make a decision that I wanted a different life. And every day when I woke up, when things were hard, when people were making fun of me, when the bank account wasn't matching my dreams,
right?
It was just still a decision. Like, how committed are you to making it happen? And every day I woke up and said, I'm 100% committed. Even if it takes me 10 years to become a millionaire, I'm going to get there. And so that's just the thing. I was just 100% committed. So it was easy. And that was what I told myself every single day, is like, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
And you had to keep making that decision every day
every day, several times a day, right? Yeah. When people, look down on you, especially in the ER, and I would get made fun of by doctors and all these people, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going.
Wait, what did you say they made fun of you? Because of the decision you were making and the path you wanted to go?
Yeah, because I was selling, I was selling health and wellness supplements. So I'd have these shakes, I'd have all these things. And they're like, oh yeah, she's selling her shakes again. And I'm like, yep, it's going to make me a millionaire one day. And I was 23. So I'm like young. And these guys are like, whatever, you're crazy.
Yeah.
And now they're all like hitting me up like, how do we do this? I'm like, I don't do that anymore. So I can't help you.
That's so good. Like what a story, right? I can't remember the exact phrase, but it's something like first they mock you, then they make fun of you, and then they want to know what you're doing or something like that. Right? It's like that's right. So you're a perfect example of that. So you started in this network marketing. First of all, why network marketing? Why did you why was that the path you went? What was
such a good question. I didn't know any other way. So I grew up in a small town, Bakersfield, which is known as the armpit of California. And I was raised by a single mom. I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. My dad was in jail most of my life. So I didn't have an example of anybody that had any type of money. I had nobody to look up to. And so I went to a meeting about network marketing because that's how it works, right? And these people were talking about financial freedom. And I had never heard people talk about financial freedom because like everybody I knew was married to the struggle, right?
Yeah.
So those words were what perked my ears up. And I was like, whatever you're selling, I'm buying tonight because I want that life. And so that's why I chose network marketing. I honestly didn't know anything else. And now that I'm so glad I chose network marketing because I learned so much from that. And I had sales experience in the past. I used to sell gym memberships and cell phones. And so, I was like, oh, I was selling shakes. I could do that.
Yeah. So what do you, first of all, I love the network marketing space and arena. And there's so many wonderful people but there's also those that say, oh, that's not a professional career. I mean, we hear that because we're so welcoming to network marketers. We find that they go out to try to get into networking groups and people will be like, oh, we don't serve network marketers. If you're network marketing as if, they're not as professional and stuff. But I mean, here you are, you've made millions doing it and have built a brand and impacted lives. So what do you say to those people who sort of, turn their nose to network marketing, if you will?
I feel like you don't know what you don't know. And so if you've had a bad experience with a network marketer that did it the wrong way, that's all you know. And so you're comparing it to that experience. And so I just try to not judge people that have a bad taste in their mouth about it, and just show them that it is a better way. And I'll show them eventually. Like everybody that used to hate network marketing in my life, like they're all believers now. And some of them are all in different companies. Yeah. But it's not my job to prove anything to you. I'm just living my life. And I'm not going to sit there and like get in an argument with people to try to prove that network marketing is the way. Like you could just watch me walk all the way to the bank and deposit my check every single week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love that. You're not worried about you don't have to have a conversation of convincing in any way. You do what you do and you focus on what you do. And that, so
I've always had the saying, like, I'm not in the business of convincing anybody. Like I will never be in that business.
Yeah. I love that, by the way. Thank you for that. Because we have a lot of network marketers who are in our network who listen to this show. And I think sometimes, they wake up and they go about the day just like you did, deciding every day. And they go, man, I'm getting a lot of negative. And so here, you're watching this. Here's a great example. Cayla can be that rock for you, that great example of what it takes to make that happen. Okay. So a lot of our people, networkers, are trying to build their network and expand that. And network marketing is the epitome of how to do that. Give us a tip of what it would take for someone to expand their network. What should they be doing every day? You said you did it on social media. Are there tips on social media to expand your network?
Yeah. And it's a really good example because just right now before I got on this, I checked my DMs on Instagram and I get a lot every single day. And there was a couple from people trying to sell their network marketing products to me.
Right.
And the thing that they did was they're using a script, which I hate scripts. I'm so anti-scripts. There's other network marketing professionals out there that are so for them. I never did it, ever.
Yeah.
But you could tell they were clearly using a script and they weren't following me. So I'm like, that's so weird. Like you want to get into my network, but you're not even following me.
Yeah.
And it was just an immediate ask. And so I would say the best thing to do is to build genuine connections on social media. So go out there and look for people that are high vibing. So people that are like positive, that are looking to change their life and go and add value to their life. So the one way you could add value to people is on social media is by commenting on their stuff, letting them know you're a real person that actually cares about them. Of course, follow them, and then just genuinely see, qualify them to be in your network. So that's something that I think people always go, oh, I'm going to just take anybody with a heartbeat. No, because you waste so much time, right? So like qualify them to see if they could be a part of your life and be a part of your team.
So how do you qualify them? Give me an example of how you qualify them.
So I look, if I'm just on, for instance, on social media, like if it's somebody that's posting negative stuff all the time, like, sorry, you're unqualified to be on my team. Okay. And let's say there's somebody that are already active on social media. That is somebody that is qualified because hello, like I'm not going to have to teach you the game of connecting on social media. You already know it. Now I just need to teach you what to say when it comes to these products and building, your team up and stuff like that. So that's one way. And then is it easy to talk with them? So like in a conversation on DMs or commenting back and forth, does it feel like you're pulling teeth? Then you're going to have to teach somebody how to become outgoing and friendly. I don't have time for that. Okay. So that's one way, because I used to just like try to get these really shy people to come out of their shell. And it's so much work to do that. And so if you can't be talkative on social media when you're hiding behind a cell phone or a screen, then it's going to be really hard for you to get and do a presentation at a party eventually one day. So that's just a little tip.
So first of all, great tips. I was writing those down, but I also hear you saying a little bit that it can also be a little bit of a numbers game. Cause you said like,
oh, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have this thing, and I'm actually coming out with a new book in 2020 that I'm working on right now. And it's 12 actions a day. So 12 people a day. And it ends up being around 360 people a month that you're talking to. But it really is power in numbers when you're getting started, because most people have a 10% closing rate. So you talk to 100 people, you get 10 people to say yes. So that means you have to talk to a lot of people to get them to say yes. When it came towards the end of my network marketing journey, I was at a 75% closing rate, and I'm I've studied NLP. I've done a lot of work, and I still don't have 100% closing rate. And I think that's good for people to understand, because you can put in a lot of work and you're still not going to get 10 yeses out of 10 asks, right? So just know that 10% is actually a good rate. And so you just got to talk to more people, and you'll learn as you go what doesn't work. So a lot of people, they want to have the perfect script. They want to have the perfect thing to say. And I'm like, if you keep waiting to have the perfect thing to say, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life.
Oh, so good. And on that note, I think I found over my career too, that the consistency made me better at the perfect script. Messing it up over and over and over and just doing it every day made me better at it anyway. So even if I had the perfect script, but I wasn't doing it, it didn't matter how perfect it was, right? Because I wasn't doing it anyway. So the more I did it, the better I got at it. Such good wisdom. And I was trying to follow. So if I missed something, help me understand. So the 12 actions a day, 360 a month. Where did those numbers, how do they add up? How did you get to those numbers? What's the, I said and I missed it. I was writing.
No, I didn't say it. I'm excited because it's coming out in my book. I wish it was out already. But what it is it's 3 people that you're going to reach out to just connect with. Okay. So the reason why most people in network marketing, or I feel like any sales profession, they fail is because they don't have enough people in their pipeline.
For sure.
Right. And so you got to constantly be filling your pipeline up and make the cold people warm people. Okay. So if you were to go and meet somebody at Starbucks today and you introduce them to your product or your opportunity, of course they're going to say no. They don't know you from Adam. Some people may get lucky, but it's very rare that happens. And so you constantly meet 3 new people a day, and it doesn't count on social media. So I'm all about getting people out of their comfort zone and going and meeting people in real life. And so one of the tips for that is, just because I'm a busy mom of 3, I meet people at fitness classes every single day. I work out 7 days a week, and I always do classes because I love being surrounded by people. And most of the people that are at fitness classes are looking to change their life. They're worried about, their outer appearance and how they feel. And I'm like, those are my type of people.
Yes.
And so I just vibe with them. And I always meet people. I always walk up to them, compliment them, and just connect with them in a genuine way with no agenda. And the next thing that you're going to do is you're also going to share your opportunity or your product with 3 people every single day. And this is the way I came up with these numbers is because I was working full-time as an ER nurse. Plus I was also a nursing instructor at a local college. I was pregnant and I had a 1-year-old. And so the reason why if you're doing this full-time, I mean, you should be talking to 60 people a day, like amplify those numbers. But I literally only had like 2 hours a day to build my business. And so this is the formula that works for me. And so you share about the product, and the way that you share is just like by asking a question. Say, would you be open to taking a look at what I do? It may be for you or it may be for somebody that you know. It's no pressure either way. I'm just, asking the question. And so it kind of takes people off the hook. It was so funny. Last night I spoke at an event do you know Tim Story?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tim's been on the podcast, yes.
Okay, so I spoke at Tim Story's event last night, and
I saw that being broadcast last night.
Yay! Yeah. So it got done. It was great, and then these people corner me afterwards. They're selling this water, okay, and they, no joke, because there was a whole line of people that wanted to talk to me, and they cornered me trying to sell me on the water right then and there. And I was like, this is what gives people.
Yes.
And I even felt like, oh my gosh, I need to buy this machine right now, the $7,000 machine. I was like, I'll give you my phone number and we'll talk later. I'm not going to buy it from them just because I didn't like the way that they cornered me, and it was just so uncomfortable. And so again, that's a way of, they didn't let me off the hook. They were just like trying to sell right there. And they should have just came up to me and said, hey, I noticed that, you had that Kirkland water bottle with you, and I sell an amazing water that changes your life. Would you be open to me sending you some information on it? I would love to. And that's all they had to say. But instead they kept selling. Of course it's going to be a no, right?
Yeah. So here's what's interesting. And I've had the same experience because I think what I heard you say was, you are interested in that machine, but the way that they presented it makes you go, I don't even know if I want to buy. I've had so many times where I'm looking for a product, but the way the person tried to sell me turned me off, and I was willing to buy it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like crazy. Here's another. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, the same thing happened when I was buying I have a Mercedes G-Wagon. And I went to the dealership, and the guy there was so just like rude. And I was like, I'm going to drive 30 minutes out of my way to go to another dealership to buy this $180,000 car. So you don't get commission. I was like,
we get in our own way. Guys, you're listening to Cayla Craft. If you, first of all, how can they follow you? Facebook, Instagram?
Instagram, Cayla.craft, CAYLA.CRAFT on there.
Awesome. There's one key thing you said that I think is so important, and we kind of went through it quickly, and I just want to go back to it. So often in what we teach, we talk about finding your ideal client and then finding where they congregate. And so for you knew who your ideal client was. You described that, but you knew that they congregated at fitness classes. And so often we don't put ourselves in proximity to where they would be to even have the conversations. And you do that, and that's what you did, and you still do that.
Yes.
So important.
I think that's so important. Yeah.
Okay. So then you shared with me, and by the way, if you're watching this on Facebook, which I'm getting a ton of like thumbs up, they love it, super mom, lots of great comments. If you have a question for Cayla, type them in right now. We'll get to those here in just a minute. But tell us about, I know that you have a membership site that you can help people with mindset and all the things that they're going through. Tell our audience about that.
Yeah. So I have this awesome membership group. It's called the Millionaires Society. It's only for females. So sorry guys, but
we have a lot of females on here right now.
So what it is when I started my business, I didn't know anybody like personally that was a millionaire that I could be mentored by. And so I found like mentorship in the form of books and podcasts. And one of my mentors is T. Harv Eker. who I've never met in person, but I've read his book at least like 20 times.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I wanted a support group. I wish there would have been something where I could have had access to a millionaire, where I could ask them questions and just, make sure I wasn't like doing anything wrong or whatever. And so I was like, I want to create that, what I wish I would have had at 23 years old. And so I created it. And I talk to people a ton about mindset, because that is the number one thing that blocks people from their success. And I started working on my mindset at a very young age because of the childhood that I had. I practiced visualization as a child, and I practiced affirmations. That was something that my mom taught me as a very young kid. And so those were the reasons why at 23 years old, I was able to make $1 million in less than 3 years with no experience in network marketing, because I had my mindset screwed on the right way. I was saying all the right things to me all day long, every day. And that's what most people, they have a broken record in the back of their mind, saying all the negative self-talk, all the things that are feeding their self-doubt. That's what's playing in their mind all day. And so I teach them how to change what they're thinking in a very powerful, impactful way. And then I also just teach a ton of just strategies, just like we talked about right now. And I do a lot of live coaching in there that most people, they would never be able to afford me. And so this membership group gives them the option to get some coaching from me.
Give us the website one more time.
Yeah, if you just go to mommymillionaire.co, it's on there. We do everything on a closed basis. So when we open it back up in August, everybody could get in if they want to.
Okay, sounds good. So I got a couple questions coming your way. So here you go.
All right.
This is from Jill in New York. Hey, Jill, love seeing you on here. Favorite personal development books? And do you have your books on Audible that they could share with their team, I believe is what she's asking.
Oh, yeah, I love it. So I actually have a podcast myself. It's called the Mommy Millionaire Podcast, which is perfect to share with your team. I do have a book that you guys can find on Amazon. It's a bestseller. Look, I only have a proof left. It's called The Habit of Leading Yourself. It's a 1-year guide to becoming unstoppable, and it's a workbook. So every week I give you a new habit to work on when it comes to your mindset. It's perfect for like people on my team. What they do is they give it to their new team members to go through. And then, it's good for any person really. So yeah, I think that those are great. Another book that I'm just like absolutely obsessed with, and I think it changed my life, is Louise Hay, and it's called Heal Your Life. And so good. She's actually the founder of Hay House Publications, which is like the #1 publication company in the world. And she's not alive, but I would say she's my mentor.
Heal Your Life.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. We'll put those in the notes. Heal Your Life. Guys, keep the questions coming for those of you who are watching. Okay, so I want to ask you a question that's, I asked this now on every podcast, and it was actually Tim Story who asked me when I was on his podcast, and I'd never been asked the question before. So I don't know if you've been on his podcast. You've probably had this question then. And I thought it was such a great question, and it caught me off guard because I'd never been asked that. Because in business, we have to be careful. We don't want to brag too much. We don't give too much ego, because then people are, that can push people away. But this is the time to kind of have that brag moment. What's the thing you're most proud of in a business sense that you've done, that you've accomplished? What's your most proudest, what's your proudest moment in business?
Oh, okay. Yeah. He didn't ask me this question. I was on his,
Yeah.
that is, especially when you put the business thing in there.
It doesn't have to be business. I mean, you could just, anything you're the most proud of.
I think for me, I've had my kids on my podcast, and they were giving out advice to people about their mindset. And I think that's the proudest moment for me and even last night at the live event, people were coming up and talking to them, and they're 9, 7, and 4. And my 9-year-old, he just gets it, like you can't say things out loud that you don't want to happen. Like those types of things, like you have to speak life into yourself and give yourself the mindset of a champion. He's an athlete. So I feel like the proudest thing to me is that I'm raising kids that are going to be able to teach these principles after I'm gone. And that's really what it's about. Like, it's not about what I do in the here and now. It's about what I leave behind and the legacy.
The legacy, yeah.
Yep. That I'm able to create. And so just seeing that it's already working with my kids, that makes me so proud. And just seeing that it's happening in my society. I mean, I see so many girls in there that are making extra, thousands of dollars a month because of the principles that they've learned from me. And I know they'll go on to teach it to more people in their network. And so that's what I'm proud of.
Man, so good. Lots of people commenting. Any other questions? Make sure you get those in quickly for Cayla so we can get those questions to her. What's kind of on the horizon for you? What are other ways you're looking to make an impact? I see, you said you're working on this book. When's that coming out? And what's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, the book's going to come out in January 2020. And we have a live event that's coming up in Scottsdale, Arizona in October. It's called Mommy Millionaire Live. And I'm so excited about that because I really believe events transform lives. When you're in a room of people that can really lift you up and help work on your business with you, give you strategy, help just encourage you, it's just life-changing. And so I love that. That's like my favorite time of the year is our live events. And what's up on the horizon for me is, we're just changing lives every day. I don't know. I feel like we have a lot of goals at Mommy Millionaire to make it into an 8-figure company. And so we're just laser focused on, we know that the more lives we impact, the sooner we're going to get there.
Yeah. So what's in business? We have a lot of people who, sometimes again, they're in the struggle. They're looking at the daily things and the challenges and the comebacks and those, we've got some who are going through health issues or divorce or, death or loss of a business partner or business or whatever. And so in the moment it can feel super heavy. And so since you talk about mindset, what would be the advice you would give somebody who's in that moment where it's just tough to see your way out of how to keep going each day?
I love that question because, just because we have all these good things happening in our life doesn't mean that we're not experiencing the sucky things. Yeah. And I just like to, I've had stuff go on this year where, a bad business partner, we had to close down one of our companies. And that was something that I really struggled with. And I would say just from my personal experience, what helped me was really looking at it and allowing myself to be angry and to feel all the feelings around it. Because sometimes we go, especially if we're in this personal development world, we look at things and we're kind of like, oh, but I'm not supposed to be feeling negative and I'm not supposed to be mad. And so I'm just going to deny that I feel that way. And that's actually the worst thing that you could do in any situation. So it's always face the feeling that you need to feel. So if it's death, grieve, you get to feel that way. You get to feel angry and that's okay. But I always give myself a timeline, right? Because I don't want to stay stuck in it. So anytime that something's come up for me, it's I get 24 hours to be mad, to be angry, to go through all the stages. And then I get to move forward because life is too short for me to stay stuck in this. So that's really my thing. And then what you focus on expands. So if you're focused on the fact that you don't feel good, then you're going to continue to feel sucky day in after day out. And so that's why I use affirmations. Just about a year ago, I was struggling with my health. I was so tired. I experienced adrenal fatigue. And so an affirmation that I told myself was, I am filled with energy and enthusiasm. I am enthusiastic about life. And so that was something I would say just 300 times a day, just get it into every cell of my body. And then all of a sudden I started to look for things. I'm okay, I'm going to try cryotherapy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I started to find solutions for my problem. And so when you change your mindset, you can realize that every problem has a solution. And you just have to get your body into the right frequency to find it. And so that's just what I would say.
Such good advice. I love setting a timeline because it's so easy to get sucked down into that. It's interesting that you also said that it's okay to give yourself permission to own that feeling and be there because I just pre-recorded a podcast this morning with somebody. So I'm not going to say who yet, but it's a big name. You guys will watch us in next week's episode. Literally said the same thing. He was talking about the downs and the struggles going through cancer, some of the other things. And he said, I had to know that other people had been there and it's okay to feel like that. It's okay to be upset. It was okay to be frustrated and mad and all that stuff that sometimes we feel like we're the only one that's ever gone through this. And I don't know about you, Cayla, but I have found that as I actually open up and be transparent about where I'm at and feeling those frustrations, I tend to find yeah, there are other people who've gone through this, but when I keep it a secret, I feel like I'm the only one who's ever gone through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a part of the human experience. You have to allow yourself to feel it.
Yeah.
And I always say that our problems are not unique. Like they really aren't. Everybody struggles with the same type of thing. And yeah.
So thank you so much for all this great wisdom. And make sure you guys, make sure you follow Cayla. She shared with you her Instagram. You can follow her on Instagram. She's got some events coming up. You can stay connected with her. So many great things happening. Thank you so much for all your wisdom and so many amazing things you shared. I've got, as most people, I got a full page of notes on here. They're kind of scattered and I'll sort them out later, but you gave me such great advice. I always feel like if I can get the advice, I know other people are watching and listening, but I come in this going, this is for me. So thank you for all that you gave our audience and to me. Appreciate you, Cayla.
Yeah, thank you
Guys,
for having me on.
You're welcome. Thanks. We had Cayla Craft on the episode of Connect, Share, Prosper today. As every episode, join me next Monday, noon Central Time, where we bring successful entrepreneurs who share their story, their comebacks, their wisdom with you so you can build a successful life and have legacy beyond the business. Thanks for watching Connect, Share, Prosper.